All right, welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. Okay, so I'm Nola Girl. If you're new to the channel, and if you're returning, which I know many of you are, and thank you so much, um, we're gonna get into it. I know you saw the caption, and you know, it's a whole lot happening, right? There's a cover up in place. It's obvious that that's what it is. People have begun to realize that the definition of insanity fits what's happening in Cleveland, right? Meaning you can't keep running around saying that you hope things or you expect things to improve where the Browns are concerned when they're not making any changes. They're not tanking because they didn't make any sweeping changes in the trade. They didn't get rid of certain players, their best players, etc. They haven't limited their quarterback. He's just not an NFL quarterback, but they insist on sticking with him. And before I went live, I was reading an article about how Mary Cabot and others, now that ticket prices in a secondary market are beginning to drop, which signals that maybe, yes, next year they're not going to get those season tickets. Everybody's out on the prowl to say, nobody's asking for Shedeur to play in the locker room. First and foremost, their contracts damn near demand loyalty, like the mafia. So they know they can't say anything. And the few people that we did see say something with Denzel Ward, Jerry Jeudy, and Myles Garrett, right? Even Tommy Reese. So there's some kind of way they're moving in this organization to intimidate players and coaches into submission, right? Into submission. So I put together a top 10 list to talk about why it is that Stefanski should be fired. And it's a lot of reasons out there. I probably could have went to 12, could have went to 13. But before I get started on my list, I want to share some things, but I want y'all to put in the comments. What do you believe is the reason Stefanski should be fired? I'm not leading you to the answer. I just want you to tell me what you honestly believe, because there's a lot of talk about, Stefanski's problematic, but I believe this community and others, podcasters, not Browns media or national media, they're kind of all in on it. We actually can come up with valid reasons why Stefanski should be fired. So I want you guys to post in the comments why you think Stefanski should be fired. So while I was getting ready for the podcast, I ran into a screenshot. I have a hell of a lot of screenshots. And it was about Tyrod Taylor. And since Shedeur and Tyrod exchanged jerseys, I thought it was fitting to bring it up. Now, what this proves is they already value Tyrod Taylor in his pre-draft process. And why? You probably can guess, right? Tyrod Taylor was drafted in 2011. He actually was a backup for 4 years in Baltimore behind Flacco, who went to the Super Bowl. He was a backup quarterback. He actually went to the Super Bowl with Baltimore. And then they sent him to Cleveland for a year. And I see why he's still in the league, because he feels like, there's something that I came for. But I would caution him, because I checked, he's been sacked over 100, 180 times in his career. And mind you, it's a lot of years, but he hasn't played enough to justify being sacked the way he was sacked. Now, when he was a backup with limited play, even though he might have only had 179 yards, he had 3 sacks, right? So take a look at this. I just found this in my screenshots, and I thought I would share it. And it's going to jump right out at you how the NFL has treated quarterbacks, how it is that Race Norman is still alive and well. This happened to Tyrod Taylor when he got drafted. But we just talked about Race Norman today. So we're going to look at this because I ran across it before we get into my top 10 list. Okay, so this is Tyrod Taylor's pre-draft. And notice it's mocked up, right? It's crazy to me how they basically said he's a good quarterback. He's a good kid. Like they said about Shedeur, he's a good kid, right? They always want to point out that he's a good kid. And they went on to say that he was an erratic passer. We don't know that. I didn't see it. I don't know. He was an erratic passer. At the end, it says he can sneak into the 3rd round like Jackson Dart snuck into the first round, and he had his own erratic passing issues because he wasn't being used to sack. But the part that stands out here is what they said, that his best asset is his athleticism, and they don't believe he has what it takes to lead a team. They're talking about his mental capacity. Race Norman. This was so prevalent that they were taking the quarterbacks in because we like your athleticism, but we don't want you to think for us. That's what they did to Tyrod Taylor. That's why he's still around right now, because he's suing the NFL. And it wasn't enough to devalue him, put him as a backup for 4 years behind Flacco. Then go to the Bills, and he balled the hell out. His longest pass was 84 yards. You know Dylan's longest pass is 24 yards. His longest pass is 84 yards. And it's not too far different from the 3 seasons that he had in Baltimore. He balled out in Baltimore. I've heard people talk about Tyrod Taylor. I actually did a piece on Tyrod Taylor that's on YouTube, a video. But to run across this today, I guess this was one of the assets that I used when I was putting together my research on how dirty they did him. And they keep going back to the mental capacity of black quarterbacks. But notice, they try to switch him off to 3 different positions: a running back, a wide receiver, or something else, special teams or whatever. In other words, he wasn't good enough to be a quarterback, but they drafted him as a quarterback. And when he balled out 3 seasons in a row, they shipped him off to Cleveland to disrupt what he had going on. Then he gets over to the Chargers, and what happens? He becomes the starter. He becomes the starter, and he has a routine pain injection, and they punctured his lung. So see, here's the thing. Tyrod Taylor was a good quarterback. He's a black quarterback, and because he's black and likely melanated, he wasn't sufficient up here. He wasn't cerebral enough to be a quarterback. But when he actually proved he was, after being a backup for 4 years, when he actually gets to the helm, he gets to the team, he plays 14, 15 games. He balls out 4,000 yards, minimal interceptions. I mean, that's a damn good quarterback to me. He gets shipped off and disrupted and sent to where? A QB graveyard for black quarterbacks. Why do I say black quarterbacks? Because the white quarterbacks like Flacco and Baker, they can get out. Shedeur can't even get an opportunity to start. They want to assume. Mary Cabot had the audacity to say Dylan is only started for 4 games. Dylan has been piss poor, underperforming since training camp. They know he was an undrafted free agent. The NFL just needs to go ahead and disband and never again do the combine. Because why does it matter? Why do skills matter? Why have a combine to assess my skills? Why send all of these scouts out to these schools? Why have a rookie training camp? And why have a competition if you're not going to use none of it? If you're just not going to use none of it. Dylan has only had 4 starts. 8 starts is what Shedeur would have, and that's too much for him. Because if he isn't good, like he hadn't even proven himself. See, Shedeur had to prove himself. Nobody else did. So when they got that, it was trash. And they want to act like Shedeur didn't prove himself. If Shedeur turns out not to be good, 8 starts is too many for him. Who the hell said Shedeur had to play 8 whole games? Like Stefanski didn't rotate 6 goddamn quarterbacks in 2023. Like he didn't rotate quarterbacks in 2024. And somebody had the audacity to step to me and say, so you saying Stefanski's racist, but his entire quarterback room was black last year. I said, and where the hell are they now? It's Stefanski's short tenure. He probably the coach and had more quarterbacks on his roster than anybody. So yeah, he racist. Because where the hell are those black quarterbacks now? DTR is not in the league. They got rid of him. Jameis Winston was supposed to be buried over there in New York, but Jackson Dart is heavily concussed, so he got to play. Deshaun Watson got injured and Stefanski turned over his headset, which made it look like his mission was to make sure Deshaun wasn't available to play because he didn't fit in his system. So let's talk about the 10 reasons this man should be fired. And they know he should be fired. And they taking pleasure in saying his job is safe. We're going to see about that. Because the longer he there, the more it's going to cost you. Racism is expensive. And there are former NFL owners who have been forced to sell their teams for the same type of corruption. Every day, Stefanski works there. He is exposing the corruption that's rife in the Browns organization. And that's when you start looking at Haslam. I read an interesting clip today that said the guy that left, De Podesta, when Stefanski came in, he was keen on Stefanski. But by the time he left, he didn't really care for him so much. He was trying to, according to what I read, limit Stefanski's impact. I don't know what the hell that means. But it seemed like I thought you was this person, but you really this person. So let me try to move you and reduce what it is you can negatively affect. But you see who got booted and blamed. Let's be clear. Haslam is responsible for the culture that his organization chooses to exhibit. Andrew Berry's the office guy. You ain't gonna see him. Stefanski is the reason the Browns are toxic. And that's on the list of 10 reasons why he should be fired for creating and perpetuating a toxic workplace. So shout out to Tyrod Taylor for standing up for himself and suing the NFL and still working there. It can be done. Just FYI. It can be done. All right, so let me get into this. Okay, first and foremost, this is the list that I put together. To-do list, fire Kevin Stefanski. Okay? Everybody want to talk about how bad he is. Some people want to speculate what they got to do better. Just fire Kevin Stefanski if you want to win. But see, Haslam himself must not be interested in winning. He loves to hide behind Stefanski. Hide behind the GM, right? That's what he's doing. And then the one that has something to say about Stefanski being problematic, apparently, for what I've read, he's the one that's gone. He's the one that's blamed for the culture. Days before Daboll is fired. Stefanski and Daboll have the same problem. Neither one of them believe that Black quarterbacks are worthy of being or holding the most important position on the team as a starter. So just like they took Tyrod Taylor, even though they said he wasn't good, so why you drafted? Because they tried to switch him off. And when that didn't work, well, we just going to bury you behind Flacco for 4 years. And then he still is around and somehow ends up on the Bills and goes up there and balls out. And then when he shows his best self, his 84 long yard passes, his 64 yard passes, oh shit, he's really good. Minimal interceptions, even though he still gets sacked, he's still out here balling. I was like, damn, he got sacked like this, and I'm talking 40 times. Like, for real. I'm talking like 40 times, 43, 48 times, and he's still putting up Shedeur Sanders numbers in year one. These dudes are phenoms. But the NFL ostracizes them because they're Black. So I use Tyrod Taylor's draft profile to show you what they think about Black quarterbacks and what they do to Black quarterbacks, even before they actually get drafted. They are devalued. Maybe he could sneak into the third round. And when he does ball out, let's send him to Cleveland. And then he still gets to the Chargers. Ain't no keeping him down. Just like Shedeur, ain't no keeping him down. That's why I say enjoy the journey. Go sightseeing, meet some new friends, make the most of it. Like Justin Fields say, well, I'm going to just preach the word of the Lord. I know that's right. I know that's right. And even though he said that, he admitted he still cried. Don't none of them better cry. In fact, what they better do is get into a goddamn group chat and support each other. Because all 16 starting quarterbacks are in an abusive relationship with the NFL. All black quarterbacks in the NFL are in an abusive relationship with the NFL. Therefore, Shedeur Sanders is in an abusive relationship, and we see it daily with the Cleveland Browns by way of Kevin Stefanski. So the first reason he should be fired is because he inconsistent as hell as a head coach, especially when it comes to offense. Just up and down, up and down. 23, he rotating all of these goddamn quarterbacks, but then loses the big game because he wanted Flacco to be the one to carry the baton home. And y'all see Flacco got the hell out of here. And if Flacco was all that, why they didn't bring him back in 24? And yes, he probably had 3 or 4 black quarterbacks, but where are they now? So he did nothing with them. But get Deshaun hurt so the insurance company could pay his salary this year, make Jameis Winston look bad so they could devalue him and make him QB4 in New York. So guys said, to hell with that, he finna start. And they kicked Dorian Thompson-Robinson out the league after they made him play his first NFL game against Lamar Jackson, who today they said is overrated. If you just read what's out there about these black quarterbacks, they don't like none of them. They want all of them gone. And I say, give them to the hell with the hell it is they want and go start your own. But first, you better start a group chat and start talking to each other so y'all can all be okay and nobody is in the closet crying. Because you don't need to be crying. You need to be trying to figure out how to start your own expeditiously. If you want to keep playing football, ask yourself, is it worth it? 2, consistently relinquishing the offense. You were supposed to be this offensive guru, but last year you go 2-6 and you relinquish the play caller because you want to see if the offense improves, and then y'all fire the offensive coordinator. So the same conversation the Browns fans are having this year is the same conversation they had last year before we, the Shedeurians, showed up. They ought to be tired. Lack of adjustments. It's self-explanatory. He refuses to make the proper adjustments even though he has a talented roster. So in addition to holding Shedeur back and making him look bad, Andrew Berry got to fetch all of these people when he don't do shit with them. But degrade. They trade value. Because remember, Shedeur is supposed to show increase his draft stock. So he working against Andrew Berry. Another reason Flacco like, get me the hell out of here. Because it's a circus. Because when he first got there with the Mary Cabot, asked him, do you think Shedeur's celebrity is going to be a problem? He was like, what? He put his head down like, what the fuck did I get off my couch for? Lack of adjustments. Has a talented roster. Andrew Berry went out here with his Harvard degree and probably devalued and penny pinched every last one of these players, especially the black ones. And Kevin Stefanski can't do nothing with the roster. Put together a damn good defense, only for the offense to lose because he refuses to make adjustments at the quarterback position. I said, take Shedeur out the way. Why you ain't elevate Bailey Zapp if you just ain't ready for Shedeur to play? You say you like Dylan, but you got him out here looking like Boo Boo the Fool. You got him out here getting sacked relentlessly. But 4 starts isn't enough. He should have never been the starter. What the hell was training camp for? What was your little fake competition for? What the hell did you even do rookie camp for to assess him? If Shedeur turned out to be the better guy, you had to set him up to make him look bad. But 4 games is not enough for Dylan. The Browns just need to come on out and say what we all can see. Y'all don't want to win with Shedeur Sanders. And since you had an all-black roster with the quarterbacks last year, you ain't want to win with none of them black quarterbacks. So much so you got Deshaun Watson hurt. You try to make Jameis look stupid, and all you did was demote Dorian Thompson-Robinson and shipped him out, and now he out the league. So now you know why they went 3-14 last year. Oh, it's not right. We're not ready to win yet. We got too many black quarterbacks, and none of them are around. How the hell you got 3 black quarterbacks last year and ain't none of them here? because your goal is to draft and destroy. And the Browns amaze me with the stupidity that they exhibit. And Mary Cabot ought to ask herself, look in the mirror and see a clown face. You know why? Because one minute she telling on them, and the next minute she out here chirping for them. She out here twerking for them. Oh, 8 starts is too much for Shedeur. How the hell can you even say that? So you're saying you already know he's not good, or you're saying you don't know that he's not good, so we just gonna assume. These people don't want to win. Their fans are right to try to sell them tickets. Sell them for $1. And then don't buy none next year. Because they're going to play in your face another year and get somebody else, and they're going to lie. And even if they white, it ain't going to work out because Kevin Stefanski is a horrible head coach. Remember Baker Mayfield? He was white, but he got out. See, the black ones can't get out like that. Lack of adjustments. You ain't trying to win. So if you ain't trying to win, you're not even trying to lose. You just out here just letting whatever happen because we got too many black quarterbacks. We don't want to win with no black quarterbacks. It's crazy how they knew they had Deshaun, and then they wanted to get Shedeur. 2 black quarterbacks. So let me see. What was going to be the plan? Because you knew Deshaun was hurt when you pursued Shedeur. And you knew you never had a black starting quarterback. So what? I tell you what, if you want to answer that question, just look and see what happened when we get to the game where Deshaun Watson is supposed to start practicing. And then when they have to make a decision on him by the time the Bears game start, let's see if they activate him and put him out there like they did Huntley to rob Shedeur of an opportunity. And what does that mean? It means that when Andrew Berry says Shedeur is going to improve his draft stock, no, he's not. So they not even working on the same page. That's why you don't see Andrew Berry. He has now realized he's a Harvard-educated go-fetch that they do not respect because he is black, and being married to a white woman, they don't care. Better check your insurance policy. Choose your beneficiaries carefully. Lack of urgency. There's no urgency that when things go south to fix it. There's no urgency. We're 2-6. All I could do is what I did last year, turn over the headset. But in the game, there's no urgency to fix it with a talented roster. They keep saying the wide receivers are trash. Why didn't y'all get any wide receivers in the draft? Because you knew you was getting a quarterback that you want to make check down Charlie. And now you want to run out here and get Ty Sampson from Alabama, and you're going to pair him with game manager Stefanski. He might as well just go play flag football. Because that's exactly, if you watch flag football, that's exactly what the quarterback is in flag football. He's staying behind his line and just kind of stand there. He don't run around or try to look and get in or run past option. He just stand there and look and constantly look for somebody open. That's it. That's what Stefanski can coach. So now they want to go get somebody in the first round who probably is maybe a decent quarterback unless he was propped up at school in college. And it happens. To come out and just be white. That's it. Just be white. That's all I need you to do is just be white. Because if we win one more game than we won in the last 2 years, then we're okay. So they get ready to ruin somebody else's career like they did Baker Mayfield because he's white. But he going to get out. Maybe in about a year or two, he'll get out. But Shedeur, I'm not so sure. Because here's the thing. They're working against Andrew Berry, who wants Shedeur to increase his draft stock because Andrew Berry likes playing buy and sell. Buy low, sell high. That's the game he likes to play. How can I do that with Shedeur if Stefanski won't put him out there? And you're only going to put him out there for 4 games. So how is it that Dylan can play all of these games and be horrible, but Shedeur gets 4 games, but that's not enough for Dylan to prove himself? So here, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about winning. It's about, I don't know, Dylan just being out here because he ain't getting no better. The crazy part is Dylan is actually getting worse. This man's longest pass is 24 yards. And that's why they, like a baby who took his first step, they don't believe in him. He just blocking. And you know what? That's cool. Shedeur don't need to play under Stefanski. I have said that. Shedeur is not even safe under Stefanski. I don't have no problem with telling nobody that. You want smoke, it's up. If you can't say his name, if Stefanski can't even say Shedeur's name, if he can't compliment him after the Panthers game, but the Panthers coach can without being asked, if he can't be genuine, if he has to say, we have to put him down, and then he has him sacked 5 times just to make him look bad to hold him back. If you truly had 3 black quarterbacks on your roster last year and you ain't got none of them this year, but you demoted every one of them when you moved them out, you're racist. If Shedeur Sanders is not, and neither is any other black quarterback, I don't know about Mendoza. Maybe they'll be nice to him. I don't know. This is a new territory here. I mean, Mariota, I don't know if he's Hispanic or not. I don't know. But the point is, I don't know how they treat him. But we know how they treat black quarterbacks. Exactly what you saw in Tyrod Taylor's profile. We say things like his athleticism is good, but we don't know about the whole thinking part. So he better off as a wide receiver. And when that don't work, we're going to bury you on the depth chart for 4 years. And then when you ball out for 3 years, we're going to send you to Cleveland where your career is going to go to die. And then, like Lazarus, you're going to raise from the dead and you're going to go to the Chargers. And then we're going to find a doctor to puncture your goddamn lung so you can't play football. I hope he wins big because he asked for a jury trial. I hope he get $1 billion. Because they never fired the doctor. Why weren't they worried that this incompetent doctor would puncture another player's lung? They had no doubt. Next, lack of a desire to win. Self-explanatory. I know this ain't going right, but Dylan deserves an opportunity. Yeah, we are now a participation league. Mediocrity is preferred. There's no accountability. There's no urgency to win. There's no desire to win because Kevin Stefanski is not doing everything possible to put the team in the best position to win. In fact, what they have decided to do is intimidate the players into silence about accountability. And now they have the media running out saying nobody's saying Shedeur should play. Their contracts damn near demand they shut the hell up. And there must be some type of intimidation cycle happening over there. Lack of a desire to win. Let me read something. I asked the person who sent me the information if I could read it, but I hadn't heard back yet. So let me just read this. And this ties into lack of a desire to win. I'm not tanking. I just don't want to win with Shedeur. But I'm trying to cover up the fact that I'm racist. I think we all know that that's what it is. So I don't know why they're running around feeling the need to lie. Who they trying to convince? Mm-hmm. Okay, you could tell I don't DM much. I don't even know how to get to the DMs. That's hilarious. Maybe it's the like. Okay, let's see. I think I found it. Is this it? Nope, that ain't it. Okay, I got to find it. I don't even know how to find my DMs. Did they move them? Oh, they moved it. They moved it. They moved it. They moved it. That's what it is. Okay. Is this it? I'm checking to see. Here it is right here. Okay. All right. So it's talking about I have a connection. Okay, let me move this over here. I have a connection to a reporter in St. Joseph County, Indiana, who is close with someone on the Brown staff. And it's not hard to figure out who it is. It said before this whole processing thing about Dylan narrative ever started, that coach told him he was blown away by how quickly Shedeur was picking up the playbook, the installs, and even defensive schemes. We know Shedeur can read defenses. It said, it said his prep was elite. We know this already, right? We know Shedeur can read defenses. We're not shocked he's picking up the playbook. Stefanski, Schumer. It's not that much different, right? It's not that much different. I'm sure they changed up some plays or maybe had added more plays. People say it's more complex, but Travis Hunter said football is football. So he didn't have a problem picking up the playbook. Shedeur didn't have a problem picking up the playbook. They both were Heisman candidates. So it makes sense, right? So you know the person's not lying. It said the staff has been ordered not to say a word about Shedeur, about Sanders. It said, and that silence is letting a false narrative play out. What did I just say about intimidation? See, let me tell you what's happening. Everybody in the media associated with the Browns and the players know they can't speak out. Even though freedom of speech is a reality, they've been intimidated into silence. This is what I was just saying, right? It says the staff has been ordered not to say a word about Sanders, and that silence is letting a false narrative play out. It said the truth is he, meaning Shedeur, absorbed every install immediately. Operative word given. Nothing will be given. It said he wasn't struggling to process. He mastered everything they actually put in front of him. So that was one of them. And there was another one. Let's see what the second one. I didn't even read the second one. I saw the first one. And this was 7 hours ago. So this was probably, I don't know when it was, to be honest. It says, by whom? I was a sports beat writer for years. I know the game and I understand how narratives get pushed. It said, the truth is, I know for a fact that claim is wrong. He's got the playbook down. So they're talking about behind the scenes. There are people having conversations where they were saying Stefanski was making it look like Shedeur had to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. And even Mary Cabot, who I felt like got herself in trouble trying to talk about Shedeur wasn't cerebral, but she was trying to say he was having trouble picking up the plays. And then I remember her switching to, yeah, but you got to execute it. So when it came out that it was a lie, that he couldn't learn the playbook, she switched to, well, now he has to execute it. For Shedeur, the goalposts keep moving, but Dylan has been a super processor the whole time, and that's a flat out lie. And to be honest with you, that's one of the things on this list as to why Kevin Stefanski should be fired immediately, even before they get to the 49ers game. And we're going to talk about that, right? So there is a lack of desire to win. All they did in rookie training camp and regular camp and mandatory camp is try to make Shedeur look like what the New York Giants said he was, which lets you know they working together. Who did I say was over there? Jameis Winston. I took a look at the teams that Tyrod Taylor played for. I said, all these teams right here are in cahoots. Cleveland, the Bills, I was like, Josh Allen. Chargers, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert took Tyrod's job after he got punctured in the lung and still got it. All of these teams right here, that's on who he played. Baltimore, you know how they treat Lamar. All of these teams are in cahoots. Every last one of them. That's why they sending the person to this, that, and the other. It's almost like the NFL is a franchise, an organization with like Chick-fil-A, but with 32. I got 32 of them. And of the 32, about maybe 10 of them are rogue. And we know about it, but we don't say nothing because, we ain't going to say nothing. Maybe they got the same owner and we don't want to push him out. But the rest of them have to follow company policy. That's what it's given, even though I know it's all 32. I'm just trying to explain to you that you can see a pattern with certain teams working together, like the Browns and the New York Giants. And then when you look at Josh Allen and you see Baltimore, and you know Tyrod has been there, and Tyrod balled out in Baltimore, and they sent him to Cleveland. Russell Wilson interviewed with Cleveland when they were trying to push him out of Pittsburgh after he took the team to a playoff. Cleveland didn't need a quarterback, I guess. Funny show, they seemed like they could need one. I guess they didn't want 3 more quarterbacks. Shedeur, because they knew he was coming. It was not an accident. This was planned. Cleveland is always a team they want to dump somebody that's black. That's where you got to go. And I don't think it just happens at quarterback. I think Odell Beckham Jr. talked about that. That's the team, the dumping ground. That's why they have a stadium and they not good. Given, not earned. But Shedeur had to prove himself. He had to earn everything, and it still didn't matter. Discrimination 101. That's racism. So the lack of desire to win with a black quarterback. I had 3 last year. Thank you for whoever thought they was doing something. I rotated through 6 quarterbacks to avoid having the 3 quarterbacks I had in 2023 close out the season. I went to a dude who didn't play all goddamn season. Not back to PJ Walker, not back to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Because Deshaun got injured 2 years in a row. Now, I don't know if the insurance company paid his salary in 23, but they damn sure paid it in 24. And now they're saying, well, I don't know. He has to pass his test after he practiced. They already know what they're going to do with him. Probably use him like they did Huntley to pit him against Shedeur. I don't care what they do. If Shedeur don't hit that field under Stefanski, cool. But understand, every day that Stefanski is over there. From about training camp till now, and we're going to keep going forward. Corruption is being exposed, and people are paying attention. Just like people come to me and tell me, there's a lot of people paying attention to your channel. You don't realize it. It's a lot of people that's paying attention to my channel that's paying attention to the Browns. Mm-hmm. That's why they're paying attention to my channel. Created a toxic culture. Again, self-explanatory. What did I just read about how the team, the coaches and the players are intimidated? And you know what the proof is for the coaches? Tommy Reese, and I said this, it's recorded, was the only coach to say Shedeur has done exactly what they have asked him to do. He's developed nicely, this, that, and the other, which basically corroborates what this person said right here. See, people are going to podcasters to tell things, and I know how to discern if what's being said is true or not. And I know it's true because Tommy Reese said it. And now Tommy Reese is sticking with Dylan because they changed his mind because he done figured out he about to be Ken Dorsey. If they already said Stefanski's job is safe, I ain't hear nobody say Tommy Reese's job was safe. And Tommy Reese was the only person that said, yeah, he basically echoed with, what's his name? Myles Garrett said about Shedeur, what Jerry Jeudy said about Shedeur, that he's ready. Denzel Ward, he's ready. Tommy Reese, he's ready. But now Tommy Reese has been told you can't play him. So let them lose. Because while they think they're doing something, it's something else happening. So he has created a toxic environment. Andrew Berry is an office guy. As you can see, they're going against him. Shedeur is not getting an opportunity to do what Berry said, increase his draft stock. If Dylan can't do it in 4 games, how the hell can Shedeur? How can you say, with everybody knowing the truth, everybody knows Shedeur is ready. It's on the record, Shedeur is ready. We saw it in the Panthers game. We all know Stefanski set up Shedeur. If you want smoke, you're going to get it. I don't have no problem with saying that. He set up Shedeur in the Rams game. He tried to set him up in the Panthers game. Shedeur got away from it. But it seems like Shedeur said to somebody else, who I still don't know who that is, that he wanted a deep ball and he got it. So everybody over there, not bad, but they are silenced and they all have been intimidated. I bet if somebody go over there and investigate and talk to somebody that worked there in the clerical sense, in the office sense, you're going to get some tea. And that's what these news channels need to start doing, is investigating organizational malpractice. Because if you don't do it, somebody else will. And that's how we get to Haslam. See, organizational malpractice don't rest at Stefanski's feet, because he ain't the boss, but his boss, the owner of the team, who is on camera saying Andrew Berry chooses the talent. And we know that that's a lie, because Stefanski chose Dylan. Andrew Berry was the one they had out here stomping to get Shedeur. So they playing in his face too. They playing in Berry's face too. I don't have no sympathy for him with Shedeur there, because he knew what kind of place it was. He also, in my opinion, played right along on draft day 3 by talking about Shedeur's skill set is outdated. They made him look stupid. And they're going to say he the one that lied. And they're going to keep protecting Stefanski, because Stefanski is a servant leader of the Cleveland Browns. Check out his ex bio and see if it's still out there. And just screenshot it for safekeeping. Nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, is a servant leader of a job. You might be the professional, or you might be the company guy, but you're not going to go on the record discriminating and trying to destroy Black players' careers, underutilizing Nick Chubb. And people want to categorize it as stubborn, racist. And they know it, and they want to cover for him. Good. Because then all y'all going to get ensnared. The longer this go on, more people going to get stuck. And that's facts. So I say, okay, you want to sit up there and you want to keep playing like Billy Badass and discriminating against Shedeur because you think you got 32 owners behind you? Wait till that fire hit their ass and see what happens. Because the longer it go on, it shall. It said poor decision making. I feel like it's self-explanatory. Again, he can do nothing with the talent that he has. He can't make adjustments. He can't choose the right quarterback, even when he had different quarterbacks last year. I just said it. This man rotated 6 quarterbacks in one season. And because he didn't want a Black quarterback to bring home the playoff game, he went with somebody that didn't play after they lead on Flacco, and Flacco got injured. Flacco got injured in the same manner that Pat Mahomes got hit in the Super Bowl last year. Like, ooh, and he was what, 38, 40? Pat Mahomes is young. Poor decision making. You know why? Because his decisions are rooted in racism. That's why. Poor decision making at quarterback. When it was Nick Chubb, poor decision making with the running backs. Poor decision making in recruiting Dylan. He could have got anybody else. Why it had to be Dylan? Because I'm making decisions. I don't want a white quarterback to come in here and get knocked up and knocked around. So I'm going to go get Dylan. Rooted in racism against him too. But he too blind and arrogant to see it. Everybody got to learn. Everybody got to learn. Poor talent management all the way around. Quarterback, wide receiver, quarterback again, running back, defense. My goal is to make certain people look good. I'm sure he wanted Mason Graham. I'm sure he wanted Carson Schwarzenegger. I'm pretty sure. Because what did I hear people saying when they first were sent to Cleveland? And Carson Schwarzenegger's contract was fully guaranteed, by the way. But Quinshon Judkins has to fight for his. And while he fights for his, he somehow gets a case. And then when the DA say, this, in other words, it's fraud, what the NFL say? I want to keep investigating. Do they utilize him properly? Or they just got Dylan out there on the island and don't want to use Quinshon Judkins like they did Nick Chubb? Inequitable treatment, racism. Racism. That's it. It's just racism. And then I'm out here intimidating who? Am I intimidating the white players or am I only intimidating the black players? Maybe I'm intimidating everybody. But why am I intimidating them? Because I am dehumanizing Shedeur Sanders. Because I know Nick Chubb is good. I know if I use him 30 times a game that we'll win. I don't want to use him because he's black. I just read the most interesting screenshot that I have on my computer, on my laptop. It talked about how the NFL no longer values running backs because the game of football, where it is today, prefers a pass-heavy offense. That ain't true. That's just a way to underpay running backs who are inherently, for the most part, largely, majority black. And that is exactly why they drafted, who's ready to get the hell out of Vegas, Ashton Jitty, to block Shedeur. There's a whole lot of Shedeur out here. And you're still seeing it today, which is why Kevin Stefanski is safe. So what's the plan? Like Tyrod Taylor that they saw him talking to, and I know it was a cringe moment. They're like, well, we're going to, for 4 years, let him be a backup. And then even if he goes somewhere and ball out, we're going to disrupt that. And maybe he'll make another trip back to Cleveland. But they started with Cleveland. So they don't expect him to last. You know what they expect him to be? Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I'm going to put you out here probably against Lamar Jackson and set you up to fail, just like I did the Rams game, and we're going to be done with that. And when we trade you, you're going to be traded as a QB3 like Dorian Thompson-Robinson to Philly. But that's after you sit on the bench after you fail when you play against Lamar. And in year 3, you're going to be QB3. And when it's time to make the 53-man roster, you're going to get waived and ain't nobody going to pick you up. Legal liability. I feel like that should be explanatory at this point. One of the things that they are not thinking about, even though they should be because they got too many people around them, is that the legal liability that Kevin Stefanski places at the doorstep of Berea and the new stadium, jeopardizing ownership. Because again, things are changing rapidly, aren't they? The way things were yesterday, they're not even today. That protection looked like it's in trouble. I don't care if your brother was the governor of Tennessee. Things are changing. Hell, Mississippi is now blue. That ain't going to help you. Legal liability. Organizational malpractice, which includes racial discrimination, negligence. One thing that is documented is Kevin Stefanski has not created a supportive environment for Shedeur Sanders. As a head coach, that is his job. He has not succeeded at creating a supportive environment for Shedeur Sanders. And violating Black NFL players' rights using the practice right off the plantation called race norming, where I say that your intellect is lower, therefore we have standards and you haven't reached them, but Dylan has. Even though you prove better than Dylan. So how is it that you can't reach the standard? Because you're Black. And it's exactly what they said about Tyrod Taylor when I showed you that clip. His best asset is his athleticism. And they ain't even say that about Shedeur. Shedeur is actually a cerebral quarterback, but they don't want to see it. If they didn't want to see it with Tyrod Taylor in 2011, if they didn't want to see it with Marlon Briscoe in 1968, if I don't want to see it with Shedeur Sanders in 2025 and Cam Ward in 2025 and Caleb Williams in 2025 and Justin Fields and everybody else, that's Black. If Shedeur Sanders can extend plays like Pat Mahomes, but I want to praise Pat Mahomes and I don't want to praise Shedeur, and they both Black, what's the difference? One of them is only half Black. And for optics, the NFL can half tolerate until this year. And Pat Mahomes had to climb his way out and start at the bottom. Because when it's 17-32, that's all we care about. And that is what Stefanski is doing. Implementing the practices of race norming against black quarterbacks probably from last year and the ones in 2023 and Shedeur Sanders and probably Deshaun Watson. And they know they don't want him to run nothing back. Stefanski is a legal liability. I said this. He gonna be the one that get everybody roped up. I hope you can now see that. I hope you can see that's where we headed. Detriment to the team, not trying to win. Detriment to the team's success. I'm not trying to win. I'm not putting the team in the best position to win. I'm a legal liability because I have created a toxic environment, which has to be killing the locker room. It has to be killing morale, and everybody got to put on a fake smile. I'm probably dividing the team by race because what am I doing? I am discriminating and dehumanizing this black leader of the team while I have a non-black player that I'm coddling. But then I have veterans that want to win, and I'm forcing them to submit to losing culture. It can't be fun in there. Everybody got to be fake. Just trying to get through it till the check clears. Have to give up on the opportunity to win before I retire. Let me just keep my head down, shut the hell up, and be quiet. Or let me walk back and say things like, after I said Shedeur was ready, well, the quarterback is not up to me. That's Myles Garrett. They don't have no respect for him at all no more after that. And I hate that he had to do that, but he shouldn't have had to. But it wouldn't surprise me if one of them guarantees was going to get snatched off his contract. You never see white players put in the position. They get to live freely. They get praised and coddled. This go for non-black players too, which is Mendoza. We gonna see. Everybody probably want Mendoza because Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl halftime show, and I know one probably could be this, and the other one be. They don't care. They don't know. They don't care. They just know international audience. People have already said he's not better than Shedeur. They don't want to admit that Shedeur is a phenom because that goes against their race norming practices that they and policies that they've had since 1920. The NFL has tried so many times to eradicate itself, to push out talent. And the crazy part is, it's not like they always go out and get white quarterbacks who are talent or non-black quarterbacks who are actually talent. If they non-black, they just want them to replace or block the black talent. The white players don't get put in that situation. They would never put J.J. McCarthy in the same situation that Dylan Gabriel is in. And they both trash. Matt Stafford is good. But the moment Matt Stafford hurt his back and people said Shedeur could go there, they clammed up. Now we already got our quarterback. Oh, so don't none of y'all want an elite, talented Shedeur Sanders? Okay, that's cool. You can have your whole damn league be white if you want to be honest. But I don't even think you want that. I think you just take pleasure in dehumanizing black NFL players and sitting back and laughing at the Antonio Browns, who just got out of jail after 7 days, who probably has CTE. I've been reading up about CTE. Apparently, they've known for a century what was going to happen. They know that the consistent impact to the head would cause CTE, whether it was called that or not, but they knew. Just like smoking cigarettes and big tobacco, they didn't say nothing. Same thing. Which is why the black players are steered, just like they said about Tyrod Taylor. He could be a running back and a wide receiver, and they are on the list for players that get CTE. At the time he was drafted, black quarterbacks weren't that many. But the way these quarterbacks have been sacked excessively, it's like they're weaponizing sacks. And in 2011, he was sacked 48 times in 1 year when he played for the Bills and still put up numbers. And they know that these black players are tough. but they keep trying to knock him down. And with Shedeur, they can't get to him physically. And when they had the opportunity, they did, which is why I don't trust Shedeur to be given not just a fair opportunity, but his health, safety, and welfare to be a priority for Kevin Stefanski. He shouldn't even be nowhere on the property. It should be considered trespassing before Shedeur can hit that field. It should be considered trespassing for Kevin Stefanski to be anywhere near the goddamn Browns organization before Shedeur take that field. I have said from the beginning, I do not trust Kevin Stefanski with Shedeur's career, his safety at all. Because he's intentionally dehumanizing him. Because Stefanski, like Daboll, doesn't think that black quarterbacks are worthy to lead these teams. So he's a detriment to the team's success. He's a legal liability. He displays inequitable treatment between black players and non-black players. He has subpar, poor talent management because he can't do anything with the talent on the roster other than to hold it back or disrupt it. It's like he was hired to be a nuisance. Poor decision-making when it comes to in-game play, losing games late. He wasn't hired and is not the lowest paid, one of the lowest paid head coaches because they want him to win. He's a nuisance. Created a toxic culture, and seemingly the guy that got booted out, that seemingly did jail with Stefanski, was trying to minimize his impact to the team because he's a nuisance. He's going to only destroy it. And that tells me it's only so many people walking around there that know what the real and why Stefanski is holding Shedeur back. And you would think the chief strategy officer would know, right? Unless they fooling with each other's wives. Lack of desire to win. That's evident. Not putting the team in the best position, not doing everything possible, exhausting every resource because the goal is to win. That's not there at all. There's no even desire to win. There's a desire to allow Dylan the maximum games to play to satisfy what? Oh, we've seen enough. His draft stock is trash. So they got to keep letting him play to maybe try to have to get better, but it's going to just keep getting worse because their schedule is getting tougher. If they didn't win against the Jets, I ain't going to say they're going to beat the Titans. Just because the Titans are going against their own quarterback don't mean that Dylan is going to outplay Cam. Understand, when you have players, quarterbacks that are sacked excessively, you are trying to end his career early. That's the goal. 48 times in 1 year. Cam is at 38, 10 more sacks, and he just surpassed Tyrod Taylor when he was with the Bills in one of those years. And all they want to do is say, you a bust. They don't care about how much money we paid you. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to send you to Cleveland and put you behind Dylan. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Lack of a desire to win is not there. Lack of urgency when things go bad to fix it. Lack of adjustments to try to get in the best to win. Relinquishing offensive duties. He's just constantly saying, okay, we're 2-6. We're 2-6. Let me let somebody else call the plays. But it's his playbook, his schemes, and his game plan. Optics. Inconsistent. Everybody want to talk about 2023 when they won. But nobody wants to talk about he went 3-14. Relinquished play calling. They fired the OC. He came back. They 2-7 on their way back to 3-14. He's relinquished play calling at the exact same 2-6 record. They probably going to lose again. And then he's going to be back next year because they already said his job is fine. And even if his job ain't safe, they want to preserve his reputation. Now, why is that? Quid pro quo, which is illegal. I did some things for you. Now you do some things for me. It's a quote saying, I don't know who said it, but it's in quotes that he would rather quit his job before he plays Shedeur. And they out here going to bat for him. Quid pro quo is illegal, makes him a legal liability. Fraud, racketeering, organizational malpractice, workplace negligence, civil rights violation, racial discrimination. Brian Flores. It proves his case. So now I want to see what y'all have said or why you think he should be fired. 172 of us, hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. All right, so I'm hopping over to the comments. All right, it says, hey, Selma, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, Gail, how you doing? How you doing? It said, yes, they seem to have a culture of retaliation. Yep. Intimidation and retaliation. I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that. It said, why did Dylan get nominated for Rookie of the Year doing a last effort? It said, please make it make sense. Because it tried to justify, it should explain to you how Stefanski got Coach of the Year. Now you see, Shedeur is the only one that had to earn everything. Dylan can get things given to him. He doesn't have to prove himself, and neither did Stefanski. They knew he wasn't a good coach. That's why they paid him only the low minimum salary. He didn't have to prove himself. And he still hasn't proven to be a good coach, but they refused to let him go, just like he refused to put in a different quarterback other than Dylan. What is it? He don't want Bailey Zappi to go out here and look better than Dylan? Or you don't want to know what backlash you're going to get for activating Bailey Zappi and putting him in front of Shedeur. They not stupid. You can sit up here all day and say 8 starts is too much for Shedeur, and you can make Shedeur play one game or no game. But we all know if you bring Bailey Zapp off that practice squad, it's going to be hell to pay if you put him in front of Shedeur. It might be hell to pay if you put Deshaun in front of Shedeur. But considering you discriminating against Deshaun and trying to upend his career, because quid pro quo, I gave you $230 million guaranteed, something can't nobody else get but maybe Kirk Cousins. But I'm talking about black quarterbacks. Maybe I don't know what the hell the priority is when it comes to Shedeur or Deshaun, because I'm holding somebody back. From what I've seen, I'm going to treat Deshaun like Huntley and just use him to get in Shedeur's game playing time and the ability to show who he is, which means I'm disrupting what Andrew Berry said was the goal, that he was going to outproduce his draft stock, the alternative use for the selection. So Kevin Stefanski just walking all over Andrew Berry plans, huh? So that, you know what that tell you, right? That tell you that Haslam and Stefanski are in cahoots. And Stefanski is doing what the owners did from the draft. They just passed him the baton in Cleveland, and Barry just over there probably crying in his closet because, damn it, I dragged Shedeur into this, which is why Mike Tomlin don't like him and why they want to fire Mike Tomlin. They don't want to fire Stefanski. His job's safe, but Mike Tomlin got to get the hell on. Excuse me? There is no football competitiveness anywhere. It's mediocrity and ignorance. That's what it is in CTE. Mediocrity, ignorance, and CTE. That's it. No guaranteed contracts. No respect for the human being. Dehumanizing black players, using non-black players like Dylan, Polynesian players, and possibly Mendoza to block a black player. But I don't want to put a white player in this position to be uncomfortable and have to be in the middle. Ignorance. so they can leave him there. And it's just going to get worse. It ain't going to get better no time soon. And I'm not talking about the play on the field. I'm talking about the level of corruption that we are seeing these fools who think they doing something. They just exposing themselves. So Shedeur stay on the bench. If that's guys playing for you, I say let guys will be done. And if that's to stay on the goddamn bench or to get traded, because the fire could turn up. Hey, let's move him out of here because the heat is just too much. I can see it. But we're going to see what God's plan is. But I know it's to protect Shedeur. So they all going down. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. But you're going to hear about it. This is what arrogance looks like. Stuck on stupid. Hey, 420, how you doing? I knew what you meant. Swansley. Thank you. It said Jerry Judy is acting like he's scared. He might be. It said, I love Miss Pamela. She keeps it real. Yes, she does. Refuses to coach every player the same is my reason Kevin Stefanski should be fired. Okay, inequitable treatment. I like it. Okay, so who said that? Universe B said that Kevin Stefanski's refusal to coach every player the same is why Stefanski should be fired. I like that. Okay. It said Judy went on a record with Mary Kay and agreed that the locker room wanted Dylan over Shedeur. Oh, Lord. Why do you keep using him? First, they used him to share a locker with Flacco, which told you Flacco was supposed to still be around. Then they got him out here stopping for Dylan. And then they had Deshaun on the record or some type of saying, people were saying, oh, yeah, he's really helping Dylan. So to be on the good side to play, because it said that in the NFL, the positional coaches or who the coaches are, they have to like you to play you. So they don't like Shedeur, so they're not going to play him. It said taking pleasure in holding back good players. That's it. He should be fired. That's a detriment to the team's success, meaning you have talent, but you're more interested in holding back that talent. Whether it was Baker Mayfield trying to dumb him down to a game manager and he revolted and got the hell on. That is the difference between Flacco, Baker Mayfield, Shedeur, Tyrod Taylor, RG3, Jameis Winston, or Dorian Thompson-Robinson, or PJ Walker. That's the difference. Deshaun Kaiser was made to go 0-15. I do believe with a black head coach who said he was incentivized to lose. So because I got a black coach and a black quarterback, I'm going to just set both of them up. And that's what they did. That's exactly what they did. People said after Miami fired their, or after two of them lost that game, and they were talking about Tua should be benched and the head coach should be fired. They said the NFL owes Brian Flores an apology. I'm like, so why is it every time there's a vacant position, his name is not mentioned? You think they would want to make it right by giving him his job back? They don't even want to do that. And they know they're going through federal court. Because from what I saw yesterday and the day, they're going through federal court. It said, how can he be an erratic passer when his accuracy stats are at the top of his class? I think they just say anything. I think they copied and pasted that from somebody last year because I have read that before. Think about it. Shedeur is a good kid. Tyrod Taylor is a good kid. I'm telling you, this is script. It's so many black quarterbacks coming in because I think 2010 was Newton, right? Did Cam Newton get drafted in 2010? No, he won the Heisman. Come out the same year as Tyrod Taylor, 2011. And then so did Terrell Pryor. So Cam Newton was a victim of Bountygate, whether he knew it or not. Terrell Pryor, they did the same thing to him. They benched him for an undrafted free agent, but they say Shedeur is a fifth-round pick, and 8 games is too many for him to play because if he messed up, that's too long for him to go. Why you just can't make adjustments? You damn sure made adjustments in 2023. You adjusted 6 goddamn quarterbacks at the wrong time. Poor decision-making. Anything to not appear racist. Anything to say out loud. just so I don't appear racist. Because the goal is to hold back his quarterback, so I got to say something. Once Michael Vick got drafted first overall, it was on. And now people look at his situation. And I thought I heard him say it's rigged. Remember, he was in the Brett Favre docu-series on Netflix. He was in the beginning, him, and I think a separate interview, I thought it was Jamel Hill. Dak Prescott called it a machine. I thought Michael Vick said it was rigged because people came to realize something. I said this when I was profiling the different black quarterbacks, but it got too painful. I said, so if I'm discriminating before I get to Michael Vick, and I'm discriminating after Michael Vick with Tyrod Taylor, Cam Newton, Terrell Pryor, so am I supposed to believe I'm not discriminating against Michael Vick? That would be crazy. If the pattern exists before the incident and it exists after the incident, it happened with the incident. That's how the incident happened. So yeah, he was wrong. But understand this, if he wasn't doing that, it would have been something else they would have used. And that's what you should get from Shedeur's situation. First, it was this. Now it's this. First, he can't read the plays. Then he can't read defenses. Now he has to be able to execute the plays. And then when he go out and do it, it still don't matter. Because race norming. And if you settle $1 billion lawsuit for that, you know what you think? I would stop it. Because you settled the lawsuit so you don't go to court, but you're still doing it. And that's what I said yesterday. You got to be a special kind of fool to get busted for something, pony up $1 billion and keep doing it while you have 2 additional racial discrimination cases running through the courts referencing the $1 billion settlement. That should tell you the racism is above all. That's what it should tell you. And it should tell black fans and it should tell black players, go do something else. They don't value you in any capacity. They think you are dumber than they are. Because if I think black NFL players have a lower cognitive functioning, therefore dumber than white players, I think black people are than white people, which is why I don't have any blacks in leadership because I got rid of them. I got Andrew Berry and I made him a go fetch and he went to Harvard. Understand, they take pleasure in Andrew Berry having to go and get an education from Harvard and trying to say you ain't nothing but that we think is dumb. But we're going to use you for your melanin. It's so plantation. It's no different than Stephen in the Django. They didn't respect him. They used him. They don't value black fans. They don't value black talent. They don't value black leadership. Therefore, they do not value black people. That's the part they never wanted to say out loud in court with race norming and CTE. And Eric Dixon they said, we're going to stop. They might have took the policy and shredded it. But the practice is still there. And Kevin Stefanski is numero uno. And they letting it fly. So they going to get what they get. Because they know better. When you know better, you better do better. Stefanski refuses to acknowledge Shedeur and lied about the QB situation. Yep, I like that one. He just flat out lied. Oh, he's a good kid. He going to come in and work hard. We know what he's capable of. God works in mysterious ways. You going to find out. And we're going to talk about the God working in mysterious ways. Friday, members only podcast. And Coach Prime, greatness. I don't know if many of you know that the athletic director, Rick George, is stepping away from his job as the athletic director at the end of the semester, which is December. So in 2026, which was supposed to be his last year, he's stepping down and somebody else is going to take over. Right as things begin to possibly turn around, or you could see the light at the end of the tunnel with Juju at quarterback. We're going to talk about that. It said Judy is lying. It said we can read body language in those plays. Have they not let Isaiah Bond play anymore because he got upset when Dylan hit him in the head with the helmet? Because I don't hear nothing about him no more. I didn't look at their last stats. Maybe I should have. This Ravens game is going to be interesting because, again, what is the priority? Is it to cheat Lamar Jackson? This week, they are trashing Lamar Jackson and saying he is overrated. Now, if the Browns beat the Ravens, the goal is to hurt Lamar Jackson. Because I guess they want to hurt Tua. Who was it? Who played for the Jets? Justin Fields? They didn't care about that. They tanking. Because they made, you can see that they're tanking because they did what teams do when they tank. They followed the tank book. We're going to get rid of our best players. Go ahead. And Dylan couldn't even beat them. So thank you for that, Amber. Judy was lying. Yep, lying. It said the offense is completely frustrated at times. Yep. It said, let me come on the show and set you straight. I'm going to let God set you straight, boo. Let's see. What's next? It said, remember back in training camp and preseason, there was a QB battle, but there was never a QB battle when the season started. Right. There wasn't. Well, here's what they did. There was a QB battle, and it didn't matter because Shedeur, by the numbers, won the battle. I shared that on a video earlier today. Shedeur won the battle. The way they justified putting Shedeur behind Dylan is because they used that Rams game where he was sacked. I think, did they lose that game or did they win that game? Does anybody remember if they won that game or not? And remember, they took Shedeur out and put Huntley in. They used that game to say Dylan is QB behind Flacco. That was the game that they decided on, but they totally ignored Shedeur's performance. They didn't evaluate Shedeur's performance at all. There was no plan to do so. And for everybody that want to go on a record now and come out and say, nobody's asking for Shedeur. Why y'all think they doing that? You don't have to do that. You don't have to tell us nothing. Because you obviously don't care what the hell the fans think. You don't care what black fans think because you're discriminating against Shedeur. And if anybody else is paying attention, they know what you did to your other black quarterbacks. So why you think they're putting it out there? No. Nobody's saying Shedeur should play. Tickets. Because if the secondary market starts to be trashed, this is the time of year they start sending out their little emails to get season tickets for next year. And maybe people not sending the email back with a credit card number. So they like, wait, let's not let it look like it's a problem. Let's let the fans think it's cool so they'll keep coming out tickets. The secondary market today, the primary market in a couple of weeks. They have underestimated who Shedeur's fans are. All of the Dylan people, nobody is out here calling for Dylan. Except for, who would y'all say, Jerry Judy? Nobody is out here calling for Dylan except for the people they are intimidating on the inside. We have the truth documented on camera. Everything that I read that Shedeur balled out, that's what the Panthers game was about. Stats versus stats, Shedeur won. Performance versus performance, Shedeur won. So now why are we holding him back? What is your history with black quarterbacks? There's a pattern here. Racial discrimination. This man is a detriment to the team. But the owners want to keep sticking together, and that fire gonna rest on their feet. Watch what I tell you. I ain't been wrong yet. The way things are today, they will not be tomorrow. I normally say May. I'm telling you, they will not be tomorrow. It said, John, no one set you straight here. Right. He gone. He gone. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? It said Tyrod Taylor got the LA Chargers to the playoffs that year, and the black coach got fired too. What? Who was the coach? And see, that's what they do. And that's why they only have 4 black coaches, and they try to fire Tomlin, and I know they trying to fire DeMeco Ryans in Texas. They trying to get rid of both of them. I don't even know who the other 2 are. The dude down in Tampa, don't be surprised. You see, they screwed him over one of them games. I saw his face. And if he went along with that Shiloh crap, I don't have no sympathy for you. And I know that's supposed to be Coach Brian friends, but we ain't found a friend yet. I ain't found one. And I'm not gonna say he is either, because I remember what he said in the press conference. So anyway, who's the other? It's only 4 black coaches. Who's the 4th one? Is he not in Arizona? I don't know who the other. Did they get rid of him quietly and we don't know? Because Brian Flores' lawsuit is a class action lawsuit with black coaches. But there's a 4th one somewhere. I just don't know who the hell it is. Well, the 2 of them are going to be gone. Because it was 6 when the season started. They got rid of 2. They trying to get rid of Tomlin. They trying to justify getting rid of Tomlin, which is insane. They're trying to get rid of D'Amico Ryans by justifying what's going on with C.J. Stroud, and they setting him up. So, yeah, black quarterback, black coach. They're trying to get rid of both of them. And it's somebody else outside of the guy in Tampa. But y'all might know who it is. I don't know. It said, some of these athletes that are black are aware of what's going on in NFL, but too afraid to speak up. Yeah, because for one, there actually was a loyalty clause that had a name attached to it. And I think that was around 2000. But they actually have a clause in their contract that prohibits them from speaking negatively about the team. That's a real thing. When we looked at the PDF of a contract, that was in there. You can't speak negatively about the team. So the first time, what's his name? Myles Garrett was upset. They said Stefanski took him out the game because he had 5 sacks and something about he was supposed to get a record. I said it was because he had 5 sacks and they still had lost the game. And then it's like after that, I can't remember. He might have spoke out about Shedeur before then. So it was like retaliation as to why Stefanski took him out the game when he was close to a record, which probably had a financial incentive. So that was retaliation. And now they got him straight. He says the quarterback situation has nothing to do with me. He gonna regret that one day. Because once they know they got you, they don't respect you. And maybe he's young. I don't know how old he is. Browns ticket sales are down to $6 a ticket. The owner knows that can't last. Yes, but that's the secondary market. That's not they already sold out for the year. All of their games are sold out. What they're concerned about is the secondary market being trash, which means people that already bought tickets this year want to get rid of them. So chances are, if I want to get rid of my ticket for $6, I don't want to buy no more for $158 or $200 next year. Because there are teams that are raising their ticket prices, and it is already said that the Browns have the lowest season ticket price. I thought it was the Panthers. And the Panthers, they let them finance them tickets for like 3, 4, 5 years. I'm like, y'all crazy. I'm like, you got to find another life or something else to do, because I can't even see paying the Browns $158. And they had tickets in the resale market for like $1,800. Or what? You got to be nuts. They're not good. I could see if they were good. I could see if they weren't discriminating against 16 to 32 black quarterbacks or 17 with Shedeur. I could see if the league was on the up and up. It's not. How much are WWE tickets? That's how much they tickets should be. And when I was reading about CTE, one of the things it said is that parents are already moving their kids out of American football. And American football is expected to lose popularity in the coming years. That was before. I read that today. What did I say probably a couple of days ago that I've said multiple times? In 7 to 10 years, people are going to be looking at black NFL players and saying, you still in the NFL? Racism, CTE. You're pigeonholed to the positions that primarily get CTE, and they're trying to now say it's your genetics. What did they say about the Nigerian? He don't speak English anyway, so he can't possibly have CTE. That's insane. Anything to not pay these black players or show them respect. If this is what they do publicly, I don't even know if I can fathom the conversations that they have privately. But here's the thing. I would never go camping in the woods with them by my damn self. because they are showing they AZZ. It says Shedeur sold out the stadium during a preseason game. Sure did, at another team stadium. Let that sink in. Shedeur sold out a stadium they were the visiting team. All of these people, and they don't want that. They don't want that at all. They don't want, and that's why I say, you willing to sink the whole ship. Because he black. If he was white, he'd be every, and the crazy part is they don't want to celebrate him. But in London, he and Travis everywhere. And ain't neither one of them playing. Neither one of them. The system of mediocrity. That's the reason why he should be fired. I totally agree. Perfect Blackness Senior. How you doing? That's a cute name. Perfect Blackness Senior. It said, I am a lifelong 49ers fan. Shedeur would have the day one, but the league can't stand confident black men. It said, but I do hope Dylan starts against my 49ers. I bet you do. Are you betting? I bet you do. I do. I bet you do. I was listening to, somebody told me about this person, but I just so happened to see Ross Tucker. Don't know who it is, but he played ball. And he telling his story about his grandpa. I'm like, you telling that your grandpa racist, right? He said that his grandpa, I guess, was 80 at the time, and he didn't like Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. And Russ Tucker himself played football and was a center for some team. He was like 5. Talking about his dad was going to pay him $10,000, or his grandpa was going to pay him $10,000 to break Coach Prime's legs. I'm like, wait a minute, was that Bounty Gate? It was like 2000, somewhere in the 2000 to 2010s, maybe 2008, 2005, somewhere in there. And I said to myself, you telling us your grandpa is racist. He said, and my grandpa didn't know what a bounty was. I said, wait, was this Bounty Gate? And I didn't have a chance to go back and look. But remember, Bounty Gate, that's what Bounty Gate was. It was to hurt certain players. They were black. Cam Newton was one of them. That's the crazy part. They tried to, and y'all see how big of a person Cam Newton is. If you don't know, he's tall and he's a big guy. It's almost like a LeBron James, but for football. Tall, big guy. And I think Cam is probably bigger, muscular than LeBron. They tried to rip his body to shreds. They had a bounty on him. So this man is saying his grandpa was going to pay him $10,000, and his grandpa didn't know what a bounty was. And the guy goes on to say, but that's just how much people either hated Prime or they liked him because he was, he didn't say flashy, but, they're trying to say, like outspoken or whatever. I said, so your grandpa didn't like Coach Prime, and you saying he didn't know what a bounty was, but he's going to give you $10,000 to break his legs, and you think it's funny, but you telling us your grandpa is racist and don't like black confident men. It ain't because he outspoken. If you don't like a man because he speaks his mind, but you okay when a white person does it, you're racist. So Ross Tucker, you're saying your grandpa is racist. And it's not funny. He was going to actually want to pay you $10,000 to break Coach Prime's legs. That's disgusting. And that's what I meant by I would never go camping in the woods with none of them. At all. I said it. Shedeur, don't go to their house. You have to treat them as they are. Racist. The same racist mentality that scalped black people's hair and put it in their cushions or fed black babies to alligators. Or that rolled up a kid and took his fingernails off in a high school gym mat and left him for dead. Place your guess against the Browns. It said that's their go-to line to explain collusion. They said somebody was blaming Shedeur. They said it's Shedeur's fault Dylan is not good. It's Shedeur's fault Dylan is 5'8". It's Shedeur's fault this. It's Shedeur that. It's Shedeur's fault that something happened last year that Shedeur wasn't there. The point is they want to blame Shedeur for everything. I'm telling you, Shedeur is too good, and I believe God is protecting him. And it's like, look, I can't let you out here. Because if you get out here, they're going to try to hurt you. Because Ross Tucker was trying to say people don't like Shedeur because they didn't like his daddy. That's bullshit. These same people probably like Ric Flair and don't have shit to say. But, whoo, yeah. But when it's a black man, it's the confidence they don't like. And they don't like Shedeur because they trying to break him and he won't break. Tyrod Taylor's still in the league because they couldn't break him. Geno Smith said it. They wrote me off, but I ain't right back. And they still trying to break him. They trying to make sure he don't even get to $100 million because he been in the league just as long, probably 2013, and he still ain't hit $100 million. Daniel Jones made $100 million a long time ago, and they incentivized him to come back and play for Indianapolis and want to pub him up. But the truth of the matter is, it's the running back. The running backs that they don't value because the NFL likes a pass-heavy offense. But when a quarterback is mediocre, I need Ashton Jeanty. I need Quinshon Judkins. I need whoever that is, Taylor or whoever, for Indianapolis. You don't hear them talk about Daniel Jones no more. That came and went. Jackson Dart, I hate he got concussed like that. Came and went after Scatterboo went down. In Vegas, they don't like Geno Smith or Ashton Jeanty. They both black. I want neither one of y'all to get the shot. That's all it is. I wouldn't have spent $20 drafting Dillon. Right. He's an undrafted free agent. It said local fans are vowing to boycott until they start Shedeur. I ain't gonna say I want the Shedeur, not with Kevin Stefanski. They need to call for Stefanski to be fired first. This ain't just about put Shedeur in. Shedeur, in most people's eyes, don't understand that he, is being protected. We watched Shedeur get in the draft when they tried to hold him out. We know for a fact, or I do for sure, they tried to get rid of him 3 times and can't. They don't want to put him in. Their ignorance is his protection. Because Stefanski is a piece of work. He will probably scalp Shedeur and put his hair in his goddamn cushion. Because that's who he is. And they want to talk about he's stubborn. He might be stubborn, but he racist as hell. And if that's who he is, his father must be as well. And that's what this is exposing, everybody. You got people now going back, looking at the Allen Iverson situation differently. Looking at how other players were treated differently. And it was said long time ago, his father only got that job because of who he knew. That's how Kevin Stefanski got the job. He's just, in their mind, an asset because he's willing to keep Shedeur off the field, which is why Shedeur couldn't go to Pittsburgh, because they could not trust Mike Tomlin, who is black, to keep Shedeur off the field. Yet they say we don't all stick together. Ozzie Newsome did the same thing for Lamar Jackson, yet black people don't stick together. They know that shit ain't true. They will never get a 3rd round pick back for Dillon. Right. You would think. You would think that they would try to preserve his draft stock to get something for him. I'm like, Dillon, do you not understand how this works? Yeah, he just arrogant though. But I know he done figured it out. And this Ravens game is going to be hella interesting. Because I'm like, now let's see what the priority is this week. I know the Jets was tanking. So it was more important for them to tank than it was for the Browns to win. But is it more important for the Browns to win or Dillon to win? And Lamar looked bad losing to Dillon when the Jets won. Yeah, that's also a play. So it'll be interesting. Not saying I'm going to watch it, but it'll be interesting. Shout out to LeJohntay. I hope he does well. He over there balling out. It said the Cleveland fans need to stop having these elaborate tailgates before the game. That I don't think it's nothing else going on. But like the church said, I know it's something else y'all can do. It seems like a status, right? They had to lower the tickets to reach the level, and everybody shows up, and it seems like some kind of status, and nobody's really thinking about what they're actually contributing to. My protest from Atlanta, I don't watch the games. I don't watch the highlights. I just look at the stats. Yep, it be black people at the tailgates. Have y'all seen that? How many black? It's like a whole black. You would think. And somebody came and said, they don't have black people at the games. I'm like, that ain't true because I saw the tailgate. Unless they're trying to say they be outside. Maybe that's what he was trying to say. I'm like, I saw the tailgate. There was a lot of black people. Remember, Cleveland is 42% black. Probably why they're trying to move. How's that for appreciation? It said, exactly, acting like they don't have any concern about the situation. Because they don't. They don't. I think it's more important for them to be on TikTok at the game. And honestly, how did they podcasters got any better? Because they got a few podcasters out there. They shucking and driving, bro. They shucking and driving. Thank you, Mac. It said they be in Cleveland tap dancing for Kevin. Yeah, that's crazy. It said no true Browns fans wants to watch Kevin or Dylan's circus anymore. Their excuses are running out. Yeah, they have run out. Tickets have now gone down to $4. Again, it's the secondary market, but that's good to know because if I'm selling my ticket for $4 this year, chances are I'm not investing in season tickets next year. And maybe a lot of the people at the tailgate, maybe they felt like, well, I already bought these tickets, so let me go. Like, I'm pretty sure they probably had some packages where you can probably get like a couple of games for $1,000, and they like, well, let me go. I don't really know. All I know is the Green Bay Packers fans sold their tickets to the Detroit Lions fans. So if the tickets are only $6, are the Baltimore Ravens fans not coming? You see? Are the Baltimore Ravens fans not coming if the secondary tickets have gone to $9, $6 to $4? That's a valid question. I wouldn't come. I wouldn't come from Baltimore because, for one, it looked like it's snowing in Cleveland anyway. I mean, maybe it's snowing in Baltimore, but I wouldn't make that trip. I think it's like I can relate to it with basketball, right? When the Lakers come to town, when Boston come to town, when the good teams come to town, people go see the Hawks, and they're not going to see the Hawks. They're going to see the other team. So this is one of those games that I would believe that if I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan and I live in the city, I might want to see Lamar. So you might have a sea of purple at this game. We shall see. Because if I live in a city and I want to see Lamar and I'm a Ravens fan and I don't support Cleveland, I'm going to get that $4 ticket. I probably am. Because I'm going to get to see Lamar. And I'm like, I go get, because that's what happens in basketball. They ain't coming to see the Hawks. They coming to see everybody else. And that's just how it goes. And when they don't play a good team, the tickets be cheap and I still don't go. But I really just cannot get back into basketball. That's just, y'all have no idea. If you look at my page, look at my IG, basketball. I'm only here because of Shedeur. That's it. And sometimes I'll be like, Shedeur, I'll be ready for you to move on so I can get the hell on my damn self. But I know he waiting on God, and God is making Shedeur wait well. So I have no complaint. May God's will be done in his life. That's all I say. And he's happy while he waiting, so that's what matters. It said buy all of the $1 tickets and don't go to the game. I mean, somebody could really be doing that. Because $1 ticket, but they be having service fees too. That's why I don't like, that whole ticket scenario. All these empty seats. We gonna see, because I know people gonna talk about it. If y'all see it, screenshot it and send it to me. Email me at whatshesaid404@gmail.com. It said Dylan was selected to be a stool pigeon. Yes. It said scapegoat. It said the collusion was to select anybody to help hold 12 back. Right. Anybody that's not white, because I don't want to put nobody else in that situation. You see, they don't even want to put Bailey Zapp out there. What that tell you? They don't like Dylan. I'm like, Dylan, I hope your family, I know somebody in your family, like, look, I know he getting paid, but y'all know what they doing to him, right? As long as you know what it is, because he good. Because I would go to Shedeur and say, you know what, man, I'm sorry. And what did they say? They said Russell Wilson, they felt like he did like that. So apparently Jackson Dart had to come out the game. They say they put Russell Wilson in and he threw the ball on the ground. So they took him out. I said, no, and Russ, he was trying to make sure Jameis Winston get in, and that's what happened. That's what I would do. Because if Bailey Zapp is not active, and see, they're not expecting Dylan to do that. See, Dylan, if you smart, if you see this, just throw the ball on the ground and they're gonna take you out, and then Shedeur get in there. I would work with Shedeur. I would tell him, just like I said, Andrew Barrett needs to use his melanin for good and make up for luring Shedeur over there, knowing how them people are. And it's crazy how they don't want to be called racist, but they want to be racist in public. Just insanity. You want to be racist, but don't want to be called racist. We know what it is. We wouldn't go camping with you. Don't worry about it. Little sausage finger. It said just benching black QBs on the shelf. Yep. It said, I noticed the more games Dylan Gabriel played, he is toning down his slick tongue and he's not smiling as much because he's figuring it out, Destiny. He's a patsy. He's a patsy. My conspiracy is that Dylan's parents have been paying to play since his freshman year of college all the way to the pros. I never thought about that. It's possible. I never even thought about that. I don't know how he got to Oregon. I really don't. Yeah, I don't know how he got to Oregon. I feel like they went and got him, and that's how he ended up at the Manning Passing Academy. Because he was only at Oregon for how many years was he there? 1 or 2? I think it was 24. He went to the Passing Academy. He was an undrafted free agent, and then now look. AB brother probably told him because it doesn't seem like Philly does business like Cleveland. Interesting. That's interesting. How the hell did he and his brother both get hired? That's in this league. That's interesting. Hey, Chi-Town, how you doing? He said, not at all. It said, AB gonna get out of there and take Shedeur with him. He better make this right. Hey, Steph Marie, how you doing? It said, in this particular situation, it's probably good Shedeur not playing against the Ravens. I agree. I'm like, but again, I know they set up DTR with the Ravens. I know how they feel about Lamar. I read and reposted. I said, so y'all gonna sit up here and trash Lamar Jackson talking about he's overrated and he didn't deserve his MVP. I said, he got 2. He earned 3. I'm like, when they start tearing down these black quarterbacks like this, they don't do this to white quarterbacks. I don't even know if they tore down Daniel Jones. Maybe they did. I don't know. But Shedeur ain't gonna get 6 years to get it right. I'm telling you, the only reason Tyrod Taylor is still in the league is because he's suing them. Somebody said when he played for the Jets, they sacked him so hard in one of them plays, they laid him out flat. Intentional. I just want to see the emails or the communique or what the bat signal is to the players that's going to sack these quarterbacks because you saying something. You saying something because it keeps happening and it's always the right tackle from what I could see. I said that in training camp. As time went on, Dylan got worse. Dylan not going to get no better. He's not good. And they propped him up and it's not working. But here's the thing. They knew it wouldn't. They already had their excuses ready for what to say. Here's what I don't think they anticipated. They didn't anticipate 4 to 6 million people showing up for Shedeur. Now what's happening? Their own fans are finally revolting. And we got, 8 games left? They don't like that because that's not what typically happens. I don't know who showed up for Deshaun Kaiser when he went 0-15, but Coach Prime did. He sure did. Right at the end of the season. He stood up for that kid. And they don't like him. That's why they don't like him. Because he has power. He has influence. He's supposed to be dumb, but he's not. These players are being held back from number 17 because they're supposed to be dumb, but they're taking over the elite QB1 spot. The whole league got to be mediocre by the time somebody come in here that they want to prop up. They on their way. People are saying it. The play is just really mediocre. Now wait till other fans start catching on. All they thinking about right now is sending out, people on the prowl to say, oh, no, it's no problem with the Browns. Y'all can come to the game. It's too damn cold out there for that anyway. I hope the fans let that damn stadium sit there empty and let the wind howl. You don't even go there for Shedeur. He know he good. Just stay home. Do what the Panthers fans did and you'll get your change. Because that's what happened with them. They trying to get rid of their quarterback too. They said no QB is safe under Stefanski. He's an abysmal coach. Fact. So I don't know who they talking about getting next year. Right now, it's they done went from what's his name? Oh, Dante Moore. They moved off of him. Now it's Ty Sampson. I mean, you was never getting Mendoza and Dante Moore anyway. If you didn't want Shedeur, you don't want Dante Moore, and you probably don't even want Mendoza unless you feel like you could use it for a year. But you know who's coming out of school in the following year. So are you really gonna get Ty Sampson, or are you letting Dylan play because he's gonna be right there next year with Stefanski, and you want your fans to buy tickets this year and not think about next year? See, everybody focused on Shedeur when in fact it's looking like Stefanski gonna be right there, and possibly Dylan too. His trade value is trash. They did not pay him $9 million for him for 1 year. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. The both of them might be right there together. Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised. And they don't want to talk about that because then the fans really ain't gonna buy no tickets. So they trying to sell it. They trying to sell it. That's what they doing. Oh, everything's fine using Jerry Jeudy. I don't know why they keep using him like that. I don't know why he allowed himself to be used. I knew something was wrong when last time, it's been a minute, that I saw the Mary Kay lady. God blocked her. The last time I saw her page, she had on X, she had something story about him pinned to her page. I said, this is why they're using him to share a locker with Flacco. That's how you know Flacco was supposed to be there. Now they got him out here stomping for Dylan. So they reckon his credibility. Also, he could stay in Cleveland because he thinks they're not going to trade him. Yes, they are. They damn near have 2 first-round picks. I'm not getting 2 quarterbacks out the first round. Let's see who we get. I don't even know. Are they starting to throw him the ball more regularly? Because at one point, he wasn't even the receiver with the most catches. So it seems like he feel like he got to step and fetch it to get the ball, and maybe I could stay or they don't cut me. Okay. They keep calling the wide receivers trash. Anybody notice the wide receivers are mostly black? The tight ends are white. Nobody talking about they trash. Nobody Dylan don't throw the ball to the tight ends. That's surprising. Just the wide receivers are trash. Dylan is a scapegoat. That's why he was handpicked. It said he knew that Dylan Gabriel would follow the plan. Yep, I agree with that as well. And they knew he would do it for the money. See, Shedeur don't need money. So I'm not going to be able to buy him into anything. And I keep trying to break him, but he won't break. And then he just ran into Tyrod Taylor, so he really ain't going to break. Tyrod going to let him know what it is. Just enjoy the ride. And that way you won't end up with CTE. Go ahead and let them. You ain't got to get out here and play. We know who you are. To my Kevin drinks skim milk. What's that mean? It said the coach is on the hot seat and the losses are piling up. Yeah, this Ravens game is going to be interesting to see if it get fixed or if they just going to leave Dylan out there and look crazy again. And at this, if they leave Dylan out there to get sacked 6 or 7 times and they lose this game, he better stand up for himself. He better stand up for himself and say, all right, I'm sick of this. Yeah, CTE going to come for you. You better stand up for yourself. But that's why he got the money. Shedeur didn't get the money because they think he got enough. Shady McCoy and Ocho already stated that they had spoken with guys on the Browns that are waiting for 12 to play. Right. What did I say? People are speaking out to other people. Now, I don't know no players, so ain't nobody going to come my way, but I know people that know people. So somebody DM me some information that I read to y'all, right? But the players are reaching out to other people and, talking to people in the industry because why? They are actually prohibited from saying anything negative. It is likely negative to say we'd rather Shedeur play. That goes against what the team agenda is. So that's negative, and it could cost them their guarantees. It's not like this is on the up and up. But there are rules in place to prohibit them from free speech. Silencing someone is illegal. Well, they doing it. They doing it. It says Stefanski is racist. Yes, he is. He are going by Jay Gruden playbook. If I hear his name one more time or see him on that damn podcast again, I'm going to just flat out ask it, Why the hell is he up there? Why are y'all coddling these goddamn racists? Stop bringing these people up here. I'm like, this is how you know that that is their agenda. And you know what somebody say they trying to hide? They trying to hide that they MAGA people. I'm like, you, what? We are not dumb, despite what the hell you really think. And we know that that's what you think. But I know you know better too. So I don't care if that's who you are. We know it already. You ain't got to not say it. Just because you don't say it don't mean we don't know. See, we're not the ones that are dumb. Understand that. I actually think we have a genius gene. I've been saying that because we got all these young prodigies, all these black inventors. Yeah, we're not the ones. It said, I don't believe that first narrative sounds made up. It's not made up. But thank you, CJ. I appreciate you. CJ, you know, you always a voice of dissent, but we welcome you anyway. We like you. I don't think it's made up because it actually is what I already heard that, what CJ's talking about, I believe, is the DMs I got with a reporter telling somebody what was kind of happening. I'm like, that's really what's playing out. And I do recall Mary Cabot saying, or I recall people saying Stefanski had Shedeur doing the same play over and over and over as if he was having difficulty with getting it. I remember her saying when they asked her, she was on a little panel, what Shedeur had to do to get more reps or whatever. She was saying, learn the plays. So they were trying to say he couldn't learn the plays. Then he couldn't learn the defense. Then he couldn't execute it. All of that is said and it's on camera. So I don't think they lying. I don't think he lying about they want people not to speak up for Shedeur. That's why they had Jerry Jeudy sharing a locker with Flacco. And I do believe that Flacco wanted the hell out of there because they sent him with a 6th-round pick, which meant he ain't valuable. But they got a 5th-round pick back for Shedeur. And had he not been benched, he probably would still be there. They even asked Flacco today if, since he's out apparently over there, better than Burrow, if the Burrow will be demoted, how he feels about that. He said, I don't care. And he don't. I think he just want to play football. But I know he likes Shedeur. I don't think he liked what was happening to Shedeur because if memory serves me right, when Shedeur kept getting sacked at that Rams game and they took him out at the 2-minute, I think he went over to him and talked to him. And I said, I bet they're not going to fire Flacco or retaliate against Flacco like they did, the cornerback Tony. I said that. I did. I said that. So I don't think it's a lie. I don't think it's a lie at all. I'm willing to believe somebody heard it on video and sent it in a DM to somebody else, and somebody sent it to me before I say it's a lie. And I don't think all of that happened either because people send me stuff all the time. It said, so is Barry involved too? Yes, in a certain aspect. Barry was the person they used to get Shedeur there. Here is how that went, that boy Wig. Barry's black, Shedeur's black. Everybody from the Giants is hating on Shedeur and Coach Prime. Barry went on camera and said, yeah, we don't think Coach Prime will be a problem. I looked at that video. I remember that video. I don't recall him looking this ingenuous. What I now see is Stefanski picked Dillon. They had Andrew Berry going out there after Shedeur. I think Andrew Berry, up to a certain point, believed that they were getting Shedeur until he was locked out of the first round. And then he had to jump up 2 spaces to get him after 47 sent out the tweet earlier. And Haslam confirmed that with the phone call and everybody was in the room. And I remember how disgusted Andrew Berry looked that night. He wasn't disgusted because he had to take Shedeur. As you could see, he came running over to Shedeur when Shedeur was balling out. That was to vindicate himself. Because what did Haslam do? He threw Andrew Berry under the bus and said that was his pick. And it wasn't. You even heard him say that was his cause, and everybody was in the room. That's how he got drafted. Andrew Berry was just trying to vindicate himself within the office because they don't respect him. Oh, you gonna throw me under the bus? Well, here it is. He done went out here and balled out. So to hell with y'all. That's why you don't see him no more. Because who did they try to fire instead of Stefanski? Andrew Berry. And who got kicked out the organization or decided to leave or it was uncomfortable? Who they sided with? Stefanski over the guy that's been there 10 years or 9. And they asked him about the things he was blamed for. He said, apparently I called plays too. Somebody said, was that a shot at Stefanski? I'm like, I don't know. But from what I read, he liked him in the beginning. He didn't in the end. And Haslam is siding with Stefanski. And Haslam has allowed Stefanski to play GM and get Dylan. And even though Andrew Berry got thrown under the bus for Shedeur, he couldn't draft Shedeur. But he had to pretend that Haslam let him do his job. Instead of throwing his boss under the bus, I got to play nice. But then y'all want to throw me under the bus instead of firing Stefanski. So you ain't going to see him no more. And the rumor was he was supposed to get DePodesta's job. He was next in line because he's above Stefanski. But Haslam treats them like they're equals. They're not. The GM is above the goddamn coach. But because Andrew Berry's black, they allow Stefanski to do what the hell he want to do. And that's where Dylan comes in at. And Dylan's draft stock is trash. And they even misusing Shedeur and they are willing to lose on Shedeur and either trade him for the same or trade him for less, which is not what Andrew Berry intended. He figured, well, damn it, if I got to get him, I can do good and trade, buy low, sell high. That's really what he thought. And they see now that what the hell he want don't matter. He just gets the blame. When we first came into the scenario with Shedeur, they were blaming him for Deshaun Watson. I read that so many times. I heard that so many times until the truth came out that Haslam told Berry, get me that guy. He's a go fetch. And he gets them because they're black and they went to Harvard and I can make a fool out of you. But they keep taking a job because it's probably a well-paying job. So Berry in on it too because he lured Shedeur there. And that's why Mike Tomlin don't like him. It said, we all know Shedeur can call his own plays. Schumer started that crap. Yep. Shedeur called his own plays. Yeah, I think Schumer did a lot to hurt Shedeur. It said the NFL has filed a grievance against the NFLPA. An article said due to negative team reports that came out. I want to read the NFL report. Oh, yeah. So every year, at some point, I'm assuming after the season, there's a survey that goes out to all of the players. And the players get to rank things. And one of the things they get to rate, probably on a scale of 1 to 5, being trash to superb or excellent, is the owners. And the Jets owner said he was trash. Come to find out, he's the one that pushed up to do away with the surveys. So the owners are pushing for a lack of accountability. Kevin Stefanski. Who gonna check me, boo? And it's not him. He just happy to do it, like Daboll. But you see what happened to Daboll. You see what happened to Callahan. And neither one of them expected to be fired. They said Daboll went in and threatened his offensive coordinator because I don't know who, somebody must have wanted him to turn over the headset like Stefanski. And they say he threatened the OC. I'm like, see, that's why he should have been fired before the season. If they had fired the GM in New York after screwing over, what's his name, number 26 that played for Philly? Saquon Barkley? None of this would have happened. None of it. None of this would have happened. It happened because they got too many people that are willing to jump at the chance to destroy a black person. That's all it is. And that's why they all gonna go down. Watch what I tell you. So now they want to make sure there's no accountability at all. I thought the NFLPA was weak and are controlled. I mean, obviously they are if they're willing to take away the only voice that the players have. That is the only way the players get to say whether they agree with something or they don't, or something needs to improve or get better, or that things are okay. So if I can't criticize or say anything negative about the team, that people like Shedeur can consistently be discriminated against and dehumanized because I can't talk about it. And then I can't put it in a survey, which is intended to be private, but for the players to have a voice, because you don't want that no more. And the owner was the one they said was the worst owner, was the one that got rid of it. Why does he have any credibility? There is no accountability at the ownership level, which is why Stefanski is allowed to go rogue. But let me tell you where accountability comes from. Congressional hearings. And it's not out of the question. Just maybe not right this second. But the way things are today, they will not be tomorrow. No accountability. So yeah, they are weak for taking away the players' voice, because now they can't speak about anything. They can't speak to the media about anything that is problematic. I mean, honestly, this is why there's so many players, which is why people need to protect their identity. This is why there's so many players going to former players like Ocho and Shannon and all these other people that used to play in the league. This is why you have people telling you, I think it was Ocho that told us that he accidentally said the name. And I was like, Ocho, come on now. You know how serious this is. So these guys, the only way they can speak out is through someone else. When the season started, there was a text, a post that somebody was saying, I can't say who it is, but the Browns players were telling other people they not giving him a fair chance. This was way like in training, before training camp. This was rookie minicamp. In rookie minicamp, players were reaching out to people that they knew to say, yeah, they not giving him a fair chance. So the players know. Intimidation and retaliation. And if you don't believe they retaliate, think about Tony. Anybody that came to Shedeur's aid, they made an example of. Some people felt like that's how Flacco got out of there, because he was hanging out with Shedeur in London. It said the old money owners tell the new money owners what to do. Yeah. Oh, that's facts. That's documented. The old money owners, meaning if you've been an owner, they told the likes of the Walmart people who owned the Broncos what to do. Now, that's crazy. We talking about Walmart. The same Walmart that y'all heard about 2 weeks ago say that the Democrats and Republicans need to get it together and get this back, this SNAP stuff together, because that's their customer. And you see what happened. It worked. That Walmart corporation, the owners that own the Broncos, were going to give Russell Wilson his extension 2 years early, just like they did, what's his name? Trevor Lawrence. And because they were going to give him his guarantees, he decided to release his no trade clause. So, and when he got on the other side to Denver, the deal was supposed to be done, but it was a bait and switch. And I was like, Russ, if your owner told you that deal was done, and supposedly that's who said everything was good, your owner played you, your agent played you. Because when he got to Denver, it's documented in that 60-page collusion document. The old owners told the Walmart people, the new owners, you can't give him that. Because if you give him that, then they all gonna want it. Only black players were a part of the collusion agreement. So the other quarterbacks, perhaps the other black quarterback. I mean, if you worth your salt, why you can't get it? So when you saw what was happening to at the hands of Sean Payton, berating Russell Wilson, they wanted him to drop his injury guarantees. If he get injured, he get paid. They were trying to bully him into dropping a guarantee. Mind you, they already baited and switched his contract. Russell Wilson lost $81 million in guarantees because of the bait and switch. And the audacity was, as it was getting closer to the end of the season, if you don't drop your guarantees, I guess they was threatening him. And he said, I'm not dropping my guarantees. So they benched him so he couldn't get injured. Because had he dropped his guarantees, they were going to injure him. Then he gets rescued by Mike Tomlin. This is why they're trying to get rid of Mike Tomlin. It is known that they give Mike Tomlin the problematic players. It was said that they sent Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh so Mike Tomlin could get fired. What are you hearing people call for? And they were number one in the division. Mike Tomlin is the only active head coach that has not had a losing season consistently. The active coaches, the other coaches like Tom Landry, they not around no more. And that's who they want to fire. It ain't football. They already give him the most difficult players anyway. George Pickens, some other people. But that's who they want to fire. Because he rescued Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And they thought he was going to rescue Shedeur. And they still think he going to rescue Shedeur. That's why he got 4 quarterbacks on his roster. Because he ain't got no more room. Yep. So we're going to get ready to wrap it up, guys. It said, yes, Tommy Rees kept it 100. Yep, he did. And now he can't play Shedeur even if he wants to. All I know is somebody over there better text Shedeur or send a damn pigeon to his house with a heads up on when he's going to play, and don't let him get caught off guard, even though he's going to be ready. Everybody over there that's choosing to be intimidated and afraid of retaliation, so they silenced like it's the mafia. They owe Shedeur that. Heads up. Don't let him get taken down by Stefanski. "22 said the black players in the NFL need to strike to get respect from these racist owners. It said Cleveland is a white racist state, and I hope Shedeur get out of Cleveland." Yeah, I heard about the state. Yeah, I heard about that, which is very interesting about Ohio State, because there's a lot of black people that go there. They have a lot of D9 Greek life and everything. I find that interesting. But Cleveland is 42% black, and I don't know much about Cincinnati. So it said everything is connected. The NFL thinks people are stupid. Right. And they moving as if people are stupid. Just because you think people are stupid does not mean that they are stupid. And that's the mistake. That's the mistake. All right, we're going to get ready to get out of here. 215 people. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please hit the subscribe button. Again, my Christmas gift is to get to 6,000 by Christmas Eve. I think we're already like at 5630 something. So we're taking baby steps for the next week or so. Can y'all get me to 700? 5,700. So if y'all can get me to 5,700, maybe I can actually make it over to 6,000 by Christmas Eve. It's only like 43 some odd days left or something like that. All right, so that's my wish. That's my wish. I hope y'all enjoyed the content. We'll be back tomorrow. I might talk to another huddle, because things are beginning to rapidly change, whether it's at CU and the athletic director leaving. Y'all know Travis is out for the season. This whole Kevin Stefanski thing, to see how this is really going to play out. The fans, are they really going to boycott? Or are they going to trade Shedeur because the fans have decided to boycott? So a Shedeur Sanders watch, because something could change before we get to the last back half of I guess the end of the season, And then there's Deshaun Watson. He's expected to start practicing after the Ravens game, not before the Ravens game. So keep that in mind. All right. So I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a good night. I enjoyed the commentary. Oh, we got a new member. Yay. Who do we get? We got a new member. I think that's what it says. Who is that? Oh, we got somebody new. Join us Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a new member. Y'all welcome the new member. And make sure your notifications are on, because I'll likely set, the Buffs are off this weekend, so I don't have to schedule a live stream. So I'll likely set Friday's podcast for 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. All right. Have a good night, everybody. And thank you for becoming a new member. Thank you for the support. And thank you, everybody, for the engagement and for your consistent support. And moderators, y'all do a wonderful job. Thank you. Have a good night. Perfect Blackness Seniors. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Good night, everybody.